What's Cooking takes you on a trip from France all the way back to Rhode Island for Steak Diane. Hello there to all my friends and relatives and new friends out there in South County, around Rhode Island, New England, and really around the world. Thanks for tuning in to What's Cooking. I'm your host, Ron Hayden, and this is a really special meal we're about to do. It's a beautiful French classic, Steak Diane, with a dauphinoise potato. It's a creamed and Gruyere cheese baked thin sliced potato and a nice green beans almondine. I've got everything right here in front of me. I'm going to go over those ingredients with you, and then we'll get prepping and get cooking, because this is just going to be great. Here we go. Look at the marbling on this certified Angus beef, beautifully trimmed from Belmont Market from the butcher shop. Thank you to Charlie and the guys. Really nice job. And just look at my countertop. Boy, that beef rubbed with Grey Poupon, flambéed with this beautiful French cognac from Pier Liquors, and then gonna reduce a beautiful veal stock and heavy cream and shallots and these beautiful baby Bella mushrooms here. And then the potatoes, you see, the russets, will be thin sliced and baked with cream and the Gruyere here, and then we'll French cut some beans and saute up with almonds and garlic, and it's just gonna be delicious. A classic French Steak Diane, dauphinoise potato, and green beans almondine. Get ready for something delicious. Okay, if you're following along at home, what I've done is I've cleared all the ingredients off for all three dishes, and I'm starting the one dish that really needs to get in the oven, which is the potatoes. The potatoes will bake, and while the potatoes are baking, the nice dauphinoise potato, then we'll prep the Steak Diane, and while that's kind of happening, then we'll prep and get the beans going. So first things first, so you want to time it so it takes the least amount of time to get it out and on the table for your family. So first thing I'm going to do is just grab my peeler and get prepping some of these russet potatoes, and let's peel off, 4 to 6 potatoes. We're going to fill a dish like this about 3/4 of the way up. And I'm peeling up my first potato. This is a good example, this dish, of some of the best things in life and the best foods in life are the simplest things. And thin sliced potatoes, cream, salt, pepper, little nutmeg, and some Gruyere cheese in there. It's pretty basic, it's pretty easy, but it's really delicious. And that's what we want. I've got 4 good-sized Idaho russets in my bowl of salted water, and I'm just finishing up on the 5th. I don't want to have not enough. I want to have enough to fill my medium baking dish. I'm doing a little 45-degree angle here. I didn't want them the long way, and I didn't want them the short way. I wanted them right in between. We're getting some nice thin slices. My slices are about 1/16 of an inch. Got the 5 all sliced and in the salted water. So now I need to grind up some Gruyere cheese and prep up some nice thin slices of the shallots. I want to layer some shallots in there for some flavor in between the potatoes. Here we go. And just take off the ends, peel it back, and I'll get some nice thin slices here. Nice and thin. And so that was a nice size shallot or shallot that I prepped up nice and thin. And now we're gonna hunk up some Gruyere, this beautiful sweet and nutty Gruyere. And we're gonna get these pieces into my little cheese grinder. Isn't this a funky old cheese grater? Let's see how this works. Beautiful. Nice. That's gonna melt in beautifully. Again, it's sweet, it's nutty, and it's French. So it will be delicious with these potatoes. Okay, got about a nice cup or so of finely grated Gruyere. It can be medium grated. It's gonna melt in there anyway. You can grate it any way you need to grate it. But I've got a good cup or so, cup to cup and a quarter. And so we're gonna put this all together now. I'm gonna drain these potatoes off and then get back here and start layering them into my casserole dish. Okay, we've got everything we need here. I've drained my potatoes off. I'm gonna hit them with some sea salt and some fresh ground pepper. I'm going to toss these around with our seasonings before we layer them into the pan. And we're going to need about a quarter of a teaspoon. Not too much, but just enough. A hint of nutmeg is what we're looking for. I'm going to dust that in there. And it might be about a half. But that works so well with the shallots and the cream and the Gruyere. So let's toss that around a little bit and get those ready. They're nice and white and been sitting in the salted water. And here we go. I'm going to start layering the bottom of this dish. Get them right in there. No perfect pattern. Hey, this is like making lasagna. And let's just scatter some shallots in there. A little bit of French flavor. Of course, the shallots are a cross between onion and garlic. And just keep layering it that way until we get almost to the top. And look at that. Didn't the dish just fill up nicely? Right down to my last few shallots and my last couple of potatoes. Beautiful. Now we're going to fill this with cream. Oh, it's just beautiful. You pour cream over anything and it looks good. There we go. I used almost all of a quart. I don't want to overfill it. When I put it in the oven, I'll put it on a baking sheet. Can we top with Gruyere now? Sure we can. This is going to melt down in here nicely. Here's your dauphinoise potato in the casserole dish, full of cream and topped with Gruyere cheese. Gonna pop it in the oven at 350 and let her rip for at least 30, probably 45 minutes. It's starting to smell good in this kitchen. Got those beautiful potatoes with the Gruyere cheese in the oven. Like I said, about 350. It starts to brown before the potatoes get done. We'll lower it to 325 and we'll cover it with a little foil. But for now, what do you need to do next to time this meal the right way? You need to start snapping off the end of your green beans and getting them ready to cut up and saute before we start the steak Diane. All right, this is a very zen moment in the process when you have to French cut your green beans. You have to split them down the middle. And so there's a couple of different ways to do it. One, you can just kind of pick out the straight ones, of course, and just hold it in between your fingers, get it started, and then just kind of follow down on the knife. Or you can slice one end like that and flip it around and get the other side like that. So as long as you split it, you're Frenching it. And let's just get one more in there. I've got enough here French cut for, you know, 3 or 4 portions, and you don't even have to cut yours in half. Of course, you can just do green beans sauteed with the almonds, a little butter, salt, and pepper, just the way you want to do them. It's easy. Just, you know, be flexible and don't worry about it. Okay, so we've got that done. That was a little bit of prep time. So let's get back to the steak Diane and get that into the pan while those potatoes are baking. Well, we're about out of time for our preparation for this French meal in this part 1. So just click on part 2 and follow along and we'll pick it back up.